everybody. This is Rebecca Jane from yogawithrebeccajane.com. Welcome to this 30-minute practice. So this is a stretch class, stretch practice. When we think of stretch, we think we're just kind of laying around, relax, just getting a leg, pulling it up. But actually, there's a lot more to stretch than you can imagine. So there's passive and there's dynamic. We're going to be doing a combination of those two. Still some strength. That strength and flexibility go hand in hand. So when you're strengthening one part of your body, you're stretching out the other. And then you just kind of switch it. That's how the muscles work. They kind of they were all each buddied up. That's a really good way of putting it. So they have their buddies. So we're going to, in a moment, start on our backs, and we're going to get our hips. We're going to focus on the inner hips and outer hips, so the abductor muscles, outer, adductor, inner. And then we're going to prepare all the stretches for the compass pose. So it's when you sit you're sitting in a cross-legged, you have one leg up and you kind of twist it up. And anyway, I'm not going to go into it. If you don't know what it is, you will find out. But it's amazing how much you will be able to do after we've been able to stretch out. So we're going to come onto our backs. When I say, blocks might be handy later when we go into some lizards. But you just have them near you. I won't be using them for the class. And we're not using our strap for this. You'll see why. We're going to be using our arms to stretch, okay? So let's just come onto our backs to start. Let's let the upper body stretch away from the legs. Stretch through those legs. And I want you to just flex the feet, pick the heels up so you can feel the calf muscles stretching, and then lower the heels to the ground, point the toes. And then reflex the feet, pick the heels off the ground. What you're trying to do is get the toes as close to the shins as you can. Heels down, point toes. Let's just open both feet out, open the feet out to the sides with the heels touching. Charlie Chaplin those feet. Or they don't have to actually touch. You could have them apart. And then just actually keep them apart and bring the toes inward. So now pigeon toe your feet and then open the feet out and then bring them in. And then hug your knees into your chest. So stretching out those ankles. Keep your right knee actually, I'm going to start with the left because you can see me easier on this side. Extend your right leg. Usually I always start with the right, or else I'll mess myself up. So stretch through that right leg as if you're standing on it. Don't forget this right leg is really an important part of these stretches. Now I want you to take your left leg to a 90-degree angle. So the left knee is over the left hip. Take both hands on the left thigh. And I want you to push into that left leg as you bring the knee in. Now you're going to say, this is pretty hard, but I want you to place it on the thigh, not on the knee. Because you're going to have to use effort. A lot of brain power. Take an inhale, push the left knee away as you pull the knee in. So there's it's like, is this fun? Is this supposed to be a stretch? It is. You'll see. You'll see why we're doing this. We're activating the muscles that we need to stretch out. So it's this tug of war with this left leg. We're going to do one more set. And then keep the leg as is. Just take your hands behind the thighs, interlace. So obviously you have to bring the knee in a little bit more. And then press that left leg into the hands as you pull the left knee. Press the hands into the leg as you push the leg into the hands. Soften the shoulders, chin is slightly tucked, and just feel that pushing into the hands with that left thigh. That left leg, and then pulling the hands into the thigh. And you're activating tummy muscles as well. And then straighten your left leg. Get into a nice stretch. You could slide the hands up, further up the leg if you'd like. Now we're stretching. take your ankle, that left ankle, and circle it around 3 times in one direction, 3 times in the other. I have to say, this is probably one of my favorite classes in a long time. And I say, you're probably like, you say this for every class. I actually do. Okay, so from here, you're going to bend your left knee, bring it outside your left shoulder. Take your left hand inside your left foot, or maybe you might have to grab hold of the back of the leg. We're in half a happy baby. Stretch through that right leg, so make sure you're actually, pretend you're standing on that right foot, and bring your left knee in towards your left shoulder. Right hand resting on your right hip to anchor it down. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then from here, I want you to just keep your left leg bent, but remove the left hand from the left foot. Both arms are reaching up at bent elbows as if you're going into a crow. This is all, and then pick your right leg up and lift your belly off, lift your head off the ground, not belly. And then breathe in and push into that imaginary floor. So if you were flipped over, you would be pushing into the ground with those arms. You'd be lifting up, you'd be squeezing your left knee into your left shoulder. And then just lower that right foot down and lower the head down. Take your rebend your left knee to that 90-degree shape. If you have to give it a little hug, that's fine. And then take your left hand outside your left knee. Right hand rests on the right hip. And flex your left foot and press into that left hand as you push the left knee forward or to the right. So it's that tug of war on this side. So these are the adductor muscle, the abductor muscles, the outer hips. So pushing and pulling and feeling that tug of war. And finally, it's like, the leg wins. Keep that left hand on the outer edge of that foot. Forearm touches down, so you have a bolster that's already there. And then straighten your left leg. Breathing in and breathing out. And then that's from here, hug your knees into your chest. And then just take a pause here for a moment, let the feet drop to the ground, knees pointing up. And I want you to feel the difference between those legs. Even let's see if it was straightened, you could feel the difference. You could feel already the hips have opened up a little bit more. And now we're going to come to the right, hug the right knee into the chest. Let's extend that left leg. Bring your right leg to a 90-degree shape. Flex that right foot, hands on the thighs. So it's that push and pull. Really put an effort into this, even though might not be, you're not in the mood for an effort. But do, because you will get so much more out of this. So push the right knee forward as you push the right knee into the hands. It's like, I want to push you away, but no, you're not going to. Just have this tug of war with that leg. And you'll feel the muscles working. And then take your hands behind your right thigh. Do the same thing. Press into those hands. Hands are trying to pull the thigh towards you, but the leg is not going to allow it. 90% of effort in this. One more deep breath in, and then let that right leg straighten. Slide the hands up the leg if you'd like, or keep it where it is, maybe up to the calf. And then I want you to circle those ankles around 3 times in one direction, 3 times in the other. And then reflex that right foot and gently bring that right leg towards you. So we're activating muscles, we're relaxing muscles. Activating muscles, relaxing muscles. And by doing that, the whole nervous system, everything starts to calm down. Now rebend your right knee to that 90 degree, come into half a happy baby. So bring that right knee outside your right shoulder, hand inside the right foot, or maybe you have to grab behind the knee. Squeeze that knee in towards that right shoulder. So it's not flaying out, it's coming in. Don't forget that left leg, left hand on the left hip. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. One more deep breath in. And just take your right hand off of the right foot. Take both hands, reach them towards the ceiling, flex the hands, bend the elbows. And then lift your left leg up. Squeeze your right knee in towards that right shoulder. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And I'm kind of moaning and making all these noises because it's really quite powerful. You could feel the muscles working here. Lower your left foot down. Just hug your right knee into your chest just for a moment. I think that's a nice thing to do here. And then rebend your right leg to a 90-degree angle. Take your right hand outside of that right knee. Just let the forearm rest on the ground. Actually, you don't have to. No, don't let it rest yet. Left hand on the left hip. Take a deep breath in and push the knee towards the navel, but then at the same time, your knee is pressing away from the navel into that hand. Create your own resistance. So this is the hardest part of the class, in my mind anyway, because you have to really work this one. You have to, one more time, take a deep breath in. And then let the leg win and lower that right forearm down to the ground. Keep the right hand outside of that right knee just as a support, a ready-made bolster, and then open that right leg out to the side. Take a deep breath in. I can feel my legs shaking. Isn't it wild? And then rebend your right knee. Give yourself a hug, both knees into chest. Lower the feet to the ground, knees pointing up. Just take a pause here. Just feeling what's going on here. All these, you're going to liberate the hip, all those tight spots in your hips and your inner and outer hips. Now keep your feet on the ground, open them just slightly wider, not too wide, and reach the arms back behind you on the ground. Interlace except for your index fingers. Keep your head and your arms in line with each other. Let me move forward a little bit, scoot forward. And you're going to glue those arms to your temples. This gets to be too much. Put the hands behind your, just interlace the hands behind your head if your neck hurts. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, I want you to lift your arms up and head up and then lower back down. Upper abdominals, and then lift up, exhale, inhale, lower, exhale, lift, and inhale, lower, exhale, lift, and inhale, lower. This time you're going to lift, but you're going to let the head stay lifted and reach the arms now between your legs. Still with that, interlacing those fingers pointing forward, and I want you to do a few little pulses here. So it's inhaling, exhaling. If you need to support your head, place your hand behind your head, maybe one hand. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And then gently lower your head down, bring your knees into your chest, and then rolling all the way up to a seat, and then onto hands and knees. Pressing back into child's pose. Stretch through those arms. Do this little sway of the head from side to side, loosening up that neck. And then coming on to all fours. Curling toes under, exhale, downward facing dog. So we're going to do something a little unusual. So you'll watch me or you'll just listen really closely. I'll try and explain it so that you understand it. So what you're going to do is you're going to we're going to turn our toes to the left on a diagonal, knees to the left, but our upper body stays in the regular downward facing dog. It's just our hips are swiveled to the left. And you're going to come onto your right fingertips and slide that right hand a little further down the mat. So it's a little further forward.
And then you're going to bend the knees even more and lift your right hip up and turn and peek underneath that right arm. So nice stretch for the outer hip, the lower back, breathing in. And then as you breathe out, let's swivel the hips forward again, come back, flatten out those hands. Then swivel the feet to the right. Another teacher calls it a corkscrew. Bend your knees here. Now your feet and knees are pointing to the right. Left hand, slide it a little further forward, come onto those fingertips. And then you're going to look under, you're going to bend a little deeper, lift your hips up to the left, and look underneath your left arm. Breathing in and breathing out. And then come back to center. And then just lower the knees to the ground just for a moment, because you might have felt your arms working. Let's just take a moment. And then we're going to take that exact stretch and do a flow with it. It's called a plank. I'm going to give it a name, plank to corkscrew. So come back to downward facing dog. Let's inhale into plank. And then you're going to, as you press up into downward facing dog, swivel the feet to the right, knees to the right, corkscrew, bend down, as if you're going to leap forward. And then turn the toes forward, back into plank. If you would have to lower knees down, do it that way. Lift back up into downward facing dog, bend the knees, turn the toes to the left. Go as deep down as you can, and then inhale back into your regular downward facing dog plank. We're going to do this a little faster. Turn toes to the right, bend the knees. Coming back into plank. Turn toes to the left, bend the knees. Come back into plank. Lower the knees to the ground, come all the way down onto your belly. We'll do that one more time in a moment. Just if you didn't get it, you'll get it the second time. Excuse me. Squeeze the legs together, forehead on the ground, arms next to your sides, palms facing each other. Take a deep breath in, lift legs, lift chest, gazing downward. Arms can reach up and back as if you're flying through the air, breathing in and breathing out. And then slowly lower feet down, lower forehead down, press up into your plank, downward facing dog. Take a little walk to the front of the mat. Once you're there, open the feet wide as the width. Let yourself settle into a forward bend for a moment. Bend the knees, swaying from side to side. Maybe wiping the floor with those hands. And then sitting down into malasana, your squat. This is where you might want to slide a block underneath your bottom. Let your hands just settle on the ground for a moment. Let the entire back round like a lazy squat, lazy malasana. And then bring your hands into your heart and squeeze those upper arms into the thighs so they're inside your thighs. And lift your heart up as your tailbone lengthens down. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And lower the hands to the ground, straightening those legs, heel-toeing the feet so they're hip distance, and then let's lift all the way up to standing Tadasana. Once you've lifted, I'll turn around so you could see me. Bring the feet either together or slightly together. Reach the arms up to the sky. Interlace, except for the index fingers. We haven't done the goddess in a while. Goddess mudra. Take a deep breath and lift arms up nice and tall, straight to the ceiling, and then stretch to the right. Push that left hip to the left a little bit more, getting that outer hip. And then inhale, lift back up nice and tall, and then exhale to the left. Once you're in that stretch, take your right hip, push it to the right as if someone has their hand on your left hip and they're trying to push you over, but you're not falling. Inhale, lift back up. Bring the arms back, so open up the front of the hips, the hip flexors, and then let the feet open a little wider, come down, forward bend. Step back, downward facing dog. Let's do 2 sets of the plank corkscrew. Inhale, plank, just so you have a little bit more fun. I happen to like this. And then lift back up, feet swivel to the right, bend the knees. And then inhale back into plank. And then bend the knees and turn the toes to the left. Corkscrew, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Then to the right. And then inhale, plank. And then to the left. And then inhale, plank. Plank, then to downward facing dog. Regular downward facing dog. Take a step, right foot outside your right hand. Lower your left knee down. Right arm reaches up to the sky. So we're doing a revolving lizard. Right foot is flat. Draw that right knee in towards the center of your body. Take your right hand back to the ground. We're coming into a lizard, but what I want you to do is bring your right foot a little bit closer to your, right arm and press your right knee into that right shoulder. You'll see why we're doing this in a moment. Keep the arms straight here. Curl back, toes under, step back, downward facing dog. We'll do the other side. Left leg outside of left hand. Right hand stays where it is. Left arm lifts. So your left knee might want to try and open up. We don't want that. Not for this stretch. Pull it in towards you. Breathing in and breathing out. And bring that left hand inside your left foot. Same type of thing. Both arms straight. Squeeze your left knee in towards that left shoulder. Curling back toes under, lifting right knee off the ground, stepping back, downward facing dog. And then let's come onto your knees, press back into child's pose, just taking a moment here. Breathing in and breathing out. Ooh, how good this feels. I love child's pose. Coming up to all fours. It's funny, I get excited about little things, and my son, he always jokes with me. He's like, Mom, you get excited over the silliest things. Come into your cross-legged seat with your left leg's going to stay crossed. Right leg is in front. So we're going to lift that right leg up, so don't get too comfortable. You're going to take your left hand on the left foot, right hand on the right knee. Some of us, this is where we stay. Some of us are going to go deeper into placing the foot and the knee into the crooks of your elbows. So this is rocking the baby. So just by doing this, you can feel the stretch in your outer hip, the abductor. You can feel it in your lower back. As you sway, you could circle, do all these beautiful things here. Now we're going to go a little further here into the compass. So what you're going to do is lift that right leg up, take your left hand, cross it over and grab hold of the outer edge of your right foot. You might have to grab lower down on the leg. That's fine. Take your right arm inside your right leg. So, and then snuggle that shoulder underneath that right knee. Now, some of us might not even get close. That's fine. Stay with the rocking the baby if you'd like. And then straighten your right leg. So you're looking underneath your left arm. Very much like with the corkscrew. You can see why we did the corkscrew. And you're feeling this twist, and then lower back down. And then lower that right foot down. And just take legs and extend them, do a little shake. Now bring that right leg in, that's the half across. You're going to lift your left leg up into your rock the baby. Decide how to work this one. Each leg's going to be different, so you might have to be slightly different with each leg. If you have any knee issues, don't hug the knee into the elbows. And then little rocks, little rolls, little circles, whatever feels nice for you. Just getting, you can feel the stretch all the way up that left outer hip. So we're stretching the outer hip, and then as we open up, we stretch the inner, the adductor muscles.
Now we're going to do this, lift it up. Actually, well, let's do this a little different. Let's take your left shoulder underneath your left. It seems better, right? It works better. First, nuzzle the shoulder underneath the leg, and then take the right hand outside your left foot. Yeah, that seems like that works a little. And then the left hand's a little kickstand here. And then gently open up and straighten your left leg. Look underneath your right arm. Either way, you get there eventually, right? My left leg is not straight. It's 3/4 of the way there, but not straight. That's okay. And then gently lower down. And then spin your body, if you're not already, with your feet facing the front of the mat. Let's fold over those legs. Get a nice full stretch in the back of those legs. So we've just created space. When you say create space, what does that mean? Your fascia has stretched. So all those little areas that are really tight and adhering, all those little, because it's very sticky connective tissue, it adheres to itself and to the bones and to the muscles. So it's like a little, and what you're doing is stretching it out. It's like cheesecloth. So that's the freedom we create in our hips. Let's place the feet flat on the ground. Let's ease ourselves onto our backs. So we feel free. We feel liberated, empowered. Stretch through the legs, stretch through the arms. This is why hip openers are so essential to feeling good, enhancing our mood. Let's hug your knees into your chest. Let's let the knees drop over to the left, spinal twist, arms out to the sides, palms up. And maybe, just maybe, you're in the mood to straighten the top leg, the right leg. Just grab hold of the foot or take hold of the back of the leg. Just see what you feel like, and turn and gaze to the right. So yes, freedom in the body means freedom in the mind, freedom in the soul, freedom in our emotions. We have more patience. We move easier. We feel more inspired. We bend that right leg. If you straightened it, hug your knees into your chest, coming onto your backs, and letting the knees drop over to the right. Same thing on this side. Whatever you did on one side, do on the other. Turning gaze to the left. So that's what yoga's about. I remember my teacher would keep saying, the one that trained me, you're creating space, creating space. I'm like, what the hell is creating space? I didn't understand it. It sounded good. I didn't know what it really meant until I started teaching and researching and understanding, rolling onto your back. It's really just getting all these areas of your body that get clunky and clumpy as we get older. Even young people are like that. And then let's extend left foot to left corner, right to right. Let the feet gently open out naturally to the sides. Let the palms spin open. Lift up from the shoulders and slide shoulder blades under, then settle down. Chin is slightly tucked so that you get into the back. So it's all about creating space, elongating, stretching, strengthening. Just like children do, they're constantly moving intuitively into shapes that their body needs and requires to grow and to thrive. And as we get older, we lose that. We're just so caught up in life and survival and work and family. This is an opportunity to just do the things that children do so naturally. And as you stay, I will come up to seal the practice. So happy hips today. Strong and powerful legs. We don't want weak legs. Even if they get bigger, like my legs, they get nice and chunky and big. But I like that. I used to not as a teenager. But now I love it. It's like, yes, I can do more. And as I bring my hands in front of my heart, I hope you enjoyed this practice. I think it was great fun. If you did enjoy it, thumbs up, subscribe, comment below. Namaste, everyone.